Hi friends, today I thought it'd be fun to read a springtime folk tale, trickster tale as well. And it is adapted by and illustrated by Janet Stevens. Adapted because she didn't really make up the story. She took elements, like I said, from folk tales and trickster tales and then made this tale called Tops and Bottoms. And it's a Caldecott Honor Book, which means it won a prize for being such a beautifully illustrated book. You may have read this book before, but I think it's really funny. It's a little tricky to read on video because it opens this direction as opposed to this direction. So it's going to be a little tricky, but I will do my best. So Tops and Bottoms, all about gardening, which is a perfect time of year for gardening. And there's Bear. You can see he's kind of lazy. Once upon a time, there lived a very lazy bear who had lots of money and lots of land. His father had been a hard worker and a smart business bear, and he'd given all his wealth to his son. But all Bear wanted to do was sleep. Now, you're going to get much work done that way. Not far down the road lived a hare. Although Hare was clever, he sometimes got into trouble. He had once owned land, too, but now he had nothing. He had lost a risky bet with a tortoise and had sold all of his land to Bear to pay off the debt. Hare and his family were in a very bad shape. "The children are so hungry, Father Hare, we must think of something," Mrs. Hare cried one day. So Hare and Mrs. Hare put their heads together and cooked up a plan. Sorry if it's a little harder to see these pictures. It's a little tricky to read on video. The next day, Hare hopped down the road to Bear's house. Bear, of course, was asleep. "Hello, Bear, wake up. It's your neighbor, Hare, and I have an idea." Bear opened one eye and grunted. "We can be business partners," Hare said. "All we need is this field right here in front of your house. I'll do the hard work, all the planting and the harvesting, and we can split the profit right down the middle. Yes, sir, Bear, we're in this together. I'll work and you sleep." "Huh?" said Bear. "So what'll it be, Bear?" asked Hare. "The top half or the bottom half? It's up to you, tops or bottoms." Let's see," Bear said with a yawn. I'll take the top half, Hare. Right, tops." Hare smiled. "It's a done deal, Bear." So like I said, remember, this is also a trickster tale. So who do you think's about to be tricked? So Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family went to work. Hare planted, and Mrs. Hare watered, and everyone weeded. So there's Bear sleeping in the top picture. There's the Hare family working in the bottom picture. Now remember, he said he wants the tops. So let's see how they're going to trick him. Bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! You get the tops and I get the bottoms." So there's the farm. And there's Hare talking to Rabbit. There's Hare is Rabbit. There's Hare talking to Bear. Now, if you know anything about gardening, some plants grow on top of the soil, like tomatoes and broccoli and cauliflower, and some are root vegetables and they grow under the ground, like carrots and beets and turnips and potatoes and peanuts. So look, when he said, "You get the tops and I get the bottoms," he planted all the root vegetables so he would get all the good stuff. And Bear just got the stuff that people don't usually use. So look, he got all the tops. He sure did. But it's nothing but a bunch of leaves. And you can use them, but most people don't. And Hare got the turnips, and he got the carrots and the beets and all the stuff you could really use. Hare and his family dug up the carrots, the radishes, and the beets. Hare plucked off all the tops and tossed them into a pile for Bear and put the bottoms aside for himself. That's really not very nice, is it? This is very tricky. I'm struggling today with these pages. Sorry. Bear stared at his pile. "But Hare, all the best parts are in your half." Well, you chose the tops, Bear, Hare said. Now, Hare, you tricked me. You plant this field again, and this season I want the bottoms. Hare agreed. It's a done deal, Bear. So now what do you think he's going to do? So there's Bear looking at his part, which is no good. And here's Hare, who's probably thinking up a new plan. So Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family went to work. They planted, watered, and weeded. So maybe if Bear didn't sleep all the time, he wouldn't get taken advantage of. Bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! You get the bottoms and I get the tops." So there's the farm again. And there he is again, waking Bear up. Hare and his family gathered up the lettuce, the broccoli, and the celery. Hare pulled off the bottoms for Bear and put the tops in his own pile. And the bottoms are all the roots, and those vegetables you don't use the roots. So he tricked him again. Well, here he is with his stuff. Bear looked at his pile and scowled. "Hare, you have cheated me again." "But Bear," Hare said, "you wanted the bottoms this time." Bear growled, "Ugh, you plant this field again, Hare. You've tricked me twice, and you owe me one season of both tops and bottoms." "You're right, poor old Bear," sighed Hare. "It's only fair that you get both the tops and the bottoms this time. It's a done deal, Bear." I have a feeling he's going to try to trick him again. There's Bear, passed out again. Seems you'd think he'd learn his lesson. He'd stay awake and maybe work also. So Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family went to work. They planted and watered and weeded, then watered and weeded some more. Can you think of something you can plant where nobody uses the tops or the bottoms? Bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! This time you get the tops and the bottoms." There in front of Bear's house lay a high field of corn. Hare and his family yanked up every corn stalk. He tugged off the roots at the bottom and the tassels on the top and put them in a pile for Bear. Then he carefully collected the ears of corn in the middle and placed them in his own pile. Bear rubbed his eyes and watched. "See, Bear? You get the tops and the bottoms, and I get the middles. Yes, sir, Bear, it's a done deal." So obviously, you don't eat the carrot roots, and you don't eat the fuzzy tassel stuff on the top. And that's what he gave Bear. He's so unfair. That's why it's a trickster tale, right? By now, Bear was wide awake. "That's it, Hare," he hollered. "From now on, I'll plant my own crops and take the tops, bottoms, and middles." Hare and his family scooped up the corn and hopped down the road toward home. Maybe he finally learned his lesson. Bear never again slept through a season of planting and harvesting. Hare bought his land back with the profit from the crops, and he and Mrs. Hare opened a vegetable stand. And although Hare and Bear learned to live happily as neighbors, they never became business partners again. So Bear did learn his lesson. And there's the Hare family at their vegetable stand. And that's the end. I really like these end pages. I hope you like that book. It's just kind of a fun little story. You know, I love trickster tales, and I love folk tales, and I love to garden, so it seemed like a perfect book for the spring. I hope you liked it, and maybe you can tell me if you've ever had a garden. I used to have a really big vegetable garden, and I don't here in Portland because I don't have enough sun in my yard, but I'm working on it. All right, friends, happy reading.